Well, hello, people. We're here again. There was a bit of concern. We didn't know whether or not Mark was going to make it at all because he had a storm come through last night, and his fiber to the curb box says his modem is going tick, 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 and it's a little bit unlike our current circumstances where our Bitcoin and our cryptos are sort of ticking over, but not really. They seem to be going in the wrong direction. So the big question comes up tonight is whether or not the 4-year cycle has actually ended, right? And if it is, what are you going to do? And am I going to be around for another 4 years to see another one, or am I even going to be investing in it and all that sort of stuff? I don't know where. Well, I know where Mark's sitting with his XRP. He's going to hold on to that to the day he dies. But so effectively, right? But let's just have a little bit of fun to start off with. I just got to actually do this. By the way, guys, I think I figured out why I have no sound when it came to showing little videos and bits and pieces. But I want to go share screen, and I want to go to that one, share, and I want to go here and here. Pause that. Sorry for the little delay here. I'm just trying to get stuff organized because it was a bit late running back here. I only got back here about 20 minutes ago and had to get everything set up and whatever. So, but this is what it looks like for us guys that are busily out there. I'll add this to the stage. This is what it looks like for our crypto, right? Just for a bit of fun.
I saw this earlier. I'm so glad you picked this up.
And that's our altcoin position. Just in case you didn't see it the first time. There's our altcoin positioning, right? Sinking down further and further and further. Yeah, I thought that was an excellent piece, personally. I like that. Just out of curiosity, did we actually get the sound come through on that, guys? So I'll go to the chat.
No, I didn't hear any sound.
I probably didn't click the button when I come to think about it.
I can't wait for the day that you have sound again, Vince. It's going to be great.
Stop the screen. No. Okay, thanks, Donna. No. All right. We'll probably need to go and reshare that again.
Well, at least I'm back in my mansion again, so I can probably do sound from my end this week. I figured out how to get out of your side and get back into mine, so that will at least hopefully work. It should be all right.
Well, this should be on Chrome. Yeah, that'll be why. Let's try this again. We'll click that. Go share. Right. And we'll add it back to the stage. And we'll play.
Yeah. I can hear that.
Sorry?
I can hear that.
You can hear that.
I can also hear walking.
There's no other noise in the background, but at least there was noise, so that's something at least. All right. Well, lots and lots have been happening. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious too. Lots and lots have been happening, but is it been in the crypto world? That is the question. I don't know about the crypto world, but we started off initially tonight with the beautiful picture, right? What we voted for here in Australia, along with the actual inability to have any cash available to us at all, so that we may try and invest in little things like crypto. Well, thank you very much, our government. That's all I have to say, which actually probably explains why the kangaroo here in the nut cracking required, hasn't been able to crack many nuts and get into the 750 lottery that is being run by Voice of Freedom. Nobody seems to have any money to spend $2, even to win $750. It's been nearly a month now this lottery has been running, and we still have just under 200 tickets left to sell. So if you can, and you like a chance to win $250 or the ability to get one of these, don't they look flashy?
Yeah, those ones look nice. They're looking very looking good now.
Right. That's because they're here. Right. But effectively, win that as the second prize. And at the rate of that it's nearly $120 in coins to buy them individually. Oh, sorry, rounds. They're not coins, they're rounds. To buy them individually. And it's an ounce of silver, so it's worth about $80 in real life terms. So if you are looking for the lottery, you've got a chance of winning one of those as well. Mark, got anything to tell us?
Oh, there's been a little bit of XRP news that nobody wants to know about. But other than that, there's been, like you said before, I was thinking earlier today when I was like, geez, I need to find a little bit more to talk about from what's been going on during the week in the crypto sector. But I was looking and there wasn't much. I was thinking there's been a lot going on. Hasn't been in the crypto sector. I'm getting feed myself. I can hear myself talking.
Well, I need to turn your volume down a fraction. Well, that, my lovely friends, is the Bitcoin chart. Right, on a 15-minute view, that's what it looks like. And there's our big drop that we talked about last week. And this is what it's done over the week. Not looking pretty, is it?
Not at
all. If we look at it,
I'm coming through your end.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Let me turn. Speak to me. Say hello or something.
Hello, Vin. Yeah, it's still happening. Try again.
I reckon that's because I turned that thing on the Chrome tab and I'm currently sharing.
Yeah,
that's pulling your voice back through. I apologise for that, sir. You'll just have to put up with it. Now that I've actually got sound, I'm not giving it away. All right,
it's going to drive her crazy. They're going to hear me twice.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. I'll have to now try and find the... It actually only sounds like I can only hear you, just so it's not too bad.
All right. Hopefully it's just
let me go back to the comments.
Oh, you've got
yep.
In the comments, yeah. Yeah, they can hear it.
Interesting. If I go like that, now what's happening?
How's that work? Yeah, fixed.
Haha. It just means I have to turn that on and off as I'm dealing with screen sharing. Okay,
and I'll
no problem.
Shut up when you screen share. When you play a video, I'll just shut up.
In that case, I'll play all videos. No, sorry. Did I say that out loud? Yeah, my bad. No. So there we go. That's there's another example of what's happened. That's the daily chart. Not pretty. Not pretty.
It's definitely finishing off that little maneuver. Though, see, this could be a bottom. It came down, went up, and then down again. So, like the move of the three-wave move there is kind of completing. So I don't know. I wouldn't really stress too much about going down too much further. I don't think they're going to crash out heaps hard or anything. But I mean, we might. They manipulate everything. So I'll probably eat my words next week about that. But when I was looking at it, when it bounced, I was like, oh, it looks like it's bouncing, but then it didn't like bounce hard and go and correct itself. Usually it might correct itself within the week again after a big crash, but it kind of just went up again and then finished off the move of that. You can see that red, green, red of the wave down there. That's like the three-wave, a standard three-wave pattern really to come down. So that could be might be like the local bottom kind of thing, and then we might start lifting off again from here. But yeah, I'm not definitely not. I've been around for a while. I'm not too worried about it. I think we've seen more go on than this, like percentage wise, before. So I'm not too worried. But yeah, I hope we don't see heaps lower prices. You never know. You never know.
Remember though, if you are following the 4-year cycle,
yeah, that's interesting.
Cycle ended just there.
Yeah. Really? That's very interesting. That's interesting, isn't it?
Right. The longest 4-year cycle that we had to date, and this one ends here if it matches it.
Wow.
That's if you're following the 4-year cycle. Just
perfect timing, aren't they? Aren't the manipulators just perfect? Absolutely to the T with their timing. They didn't miss a trick on that one. That's well, I guess if you've got money on the side and you can buy, it's a great time to buy. I'm long-term holder, so I'm always saying buy your dips. And if you've got coin on the side, I used to get sick of watching people say that to me when I'd be watching shows, and they'd go, "Oh, I hope you bought the dip today." And it's like, we've what? I haven't got any money.
So this is the silver from today.
Hasn't that been amazing?
Right.
Put it on the weekly chart, Vince. The weekly chart is almost looked parabolic. It's very fun to look at. You might have to add it in. There you go. Look at that. Look at the weekly. It's just starting to go vertical.
Yep. And if we go back there, that blue line was the highest point that silver has ever got to. Right? And that's that blue line right there.
We're at a time, aren't we? It's going to be interesting to see. So we've touched your trend line that we were talking about the other week.
Yeah, it bounced off of it. Yeah.
And it bounced off of it, which I said we might see a little bit of a retraction when we hit it, but it'll be interesting to see how much of a retraction you get. We might just blast straight through it too. And then usually it'll blast through and then test it. So it'd blast through and then come back down.
15-minute chart. That's the 15-minute chart.
Silver's just been, hasn't it been fun lately to just like you wake up, it goes up like $2 a day or something lately. It's pretty. They reckon that in a lot of the theory that I was reading a long time ago when I was first buying silver, the theory they were talking about was that when it breaks and it really goes, it'll get to a point where the COMEX and all that, the trading platforms that are actually running the silver shorts and all the longs and the silver trading, they get to a point where they have to cut off trading because it goes up too fast in a day, and it'll move. It's going to move $10, $15, $20 in a day and just start doing those kind of things. And then they have to actually just cut off, and people will wake up the next day not really knowing what the price of silver is going to be. And it's going to be a very interesting time. And I think we might be approaching those kinds of that kind of sentiment in the market, because this is getting out of hand. Like I bought silver before Trump got in the first time. I was buying all my silver, and it was like 2015, 2016. And I was thinking back then with all the theory that I was reading, I was like, oh great, it's gonna pump soon. It's gonna pump soon. I've nearly had to wait 10 years. So it's really
well, that's soon. Just depending on the lifestyle, right?
So to see this kind of movement in the market at the moment, it's unheard of. It's like you were saying before. Like, we have to go back to what year is that all-time high? Is the previous all-time high? Is it the 70s? Is that what you were saying?
14th of October. Hang on, I'm in the wrong view. Let
So-
me go
so
back
this
to
is-
daily.
This is unheard of, this kind of stuff for silver and gold. It's a long time ago that your all-time high.
We have to go to weekly.
You're going to go right back. Oh, no, sorry.
Okay.
You're looking, and then
There it is
previously
there.
before that is, back in 1979.
Monday, the 18th of April, 2011.
Fair. So that was back just not that long ago.
All right.
But
And the one before that,
that's the 70s one I was thinking of. Sorry.
79, 24th of December, 1979.
Wow. So, yeah,
Right?
so we've still had to wait. It's been 15
Look at
years.
that.
It's been nearly 15 years kind of thing that we've had to wait. So this is
So
a regular
what they
thing to
were
happen.
talking about. Let's see if I can get this to work. A huge
The cup and handle.
Look at it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting
that
on a really
amazing?
bad drawer. But it's a much more shallow cup than that. But yeah.
But that's. I saw a bloke talking about that too the other day, and I was like, "Oh, you're 100% correct on that from my calculations." And when they reckon they break, when a cup and handle breaks, it's one of the most violent breaks in the market.
So that's it there, and that's the handle, and now it's out. So this is the point that we're looking at.
Yeah, this is a pretty big
So
impression.
I'm just making myself look professional here, drawing pictures on the screen. Right. So anyway, I probably should behave myself. But sometimes some of the charting, these guys go, what? Okay, how do you do that?
That's exactly, you're 100% right. It's like that, and they'll do all their prediction lines and squiggle it all the way, and you're like, oh yeah. I watch one guy and he laughs because he laughs at all the people that squiggle the lines too. But when he does one, you come back in a couple of months and he's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah, I can't even get rid of it now. So, anyway, so that's just going to show.
I mean, it's getting into the theory of the reset of the monetary system.
Well, funny you should mention that, because if I jump to here, right, I have some videos that I've grabbed. And I'm going to play this one first because it talks about that sort of thing and the debt clock and whatever. So let's just go and throw that up into full screen. Hey, stop. Because I have to turn that off first. And now we should be able to play. No speaking, Mark.
Now let's talk about the new macro clock. Now let's widen the lens and see what's really driving the cycle. This next framework comes from two of the sharpest minds in global macro, Raoul Pal and Julian Battelle. Together, they built what they call the Everything Code, a model that connects debt, liquidity, and the rhythm of every major asset cycle. And when you understand it, the idea of a strict 4-year crypto rhythm goes out the window. The old pattern everyone quotes came from Bitcoin's halving schedule. But underneath that was something bigger, the government debt refinancing cycle. That's the real clock that drives liquidity waves across the entire financial system. Check this out.
They've created a 4-year cycle, or they had created a 4-year cycle. We'll come on to the shift in that cycle based on the debt refinancing cycle. So it's about a 3 to 5 year sector is where they've been operating at. And every 4 years, they've been basically refinancing that debt by printing money. And that happens over a 3-year period. And then there's usually a period where they withdraw money from the system before they start again. But each time it keeps going up. And that creates these weird cycles. So Bitcoin, some people thought it was the halving cycle. It's not. It's the debt refi cycle because it happens in all assets, the NASDAQ, commodities, everything. And it's driven by this like spring, summer, fall, winter. And they're all corresponding to how much money they're printing at one period of time.
That's the real macro heartbeat. Every few years, trillions in government bonds come due. To roll them over, central banks have to inject liquidity And that liquidity doesn't stay trapped in the bond market. It spills over into equities, real estate, and eventually crypto. Then the US Treasury quietly changed the game.
And we found out that the debt had been moved in 2021-22 because interest rates.
This is the interesting bit right here, because this could be the difference in the next section of the market. This is part of what you were trying to point out last week, Mark, wasn't it?
Yes.
You can speak now. I'm muted.
Yeah.
So if you've got any interest in what you think's happening from here on in, is the 4-year market over or not? Have a listen to this bit.
They managed to extend the curve by issuing further out, and they extended the debt maturity from 4 and a bit years. That the debt had been moved in 2021-22 because interest rates went basically back to zero. They managed to extend the curve by issuing further out, and they extended the debt maturity from 4 and a bit years to 5.4 years, creating a new longer cycle. Now, we don't know what length the next cycle is. It depends on where they refinance this entire cycle at. But right now, we know we've probably got an ISM and a business cycle that extends well into late 2026, and that will affect asset prices.
That one move, extending the average debt maturity from 4 to more than 5 years, stretched the entire liquidity timeline. Once maturities lengthened, the system required lower rates for longer to keep debt service manageable. That's why this expansion can run much longer than people expect. And the next 12 months are where all converges.
Why? Because we've got $9 trillion of debt to roll over the next 12 months. It's this 12 months that is the key to everything. It's this 12 months where maximum money printing comes.
That line isn't a prediction. It's simple arithmetic. $9 trillion of government debt has to be refinanced. The Fed can't let yields explode, so liquidity injections are inevitable. That flood of new money feeds straight into the financial bloodstream, and crypto feels it first. So the next time someone says, it's just the halving, which you've been hearing your entire crypto career, remind them that the real driver is the global debt calendar. And that calendar has already flipped to a brand new 5-year cycle.
All right.
Very interesting theory.
Isn't it? So what does that mean for crypto? What do you see that meaning?
Well, I think that was kind of which way I was leaning from what I was watching going on this year. Anyway, that we hadn't seen the complete explosion in price that would drive the bull market to the euphoric stages where everybody's buying and people are rushing into and spending every last cent they possibly can in FOMO to try and get in. We haven't seen that yet. And that's why I was a little bit surprised to see the manipulation crash kind of thing the other day, because I thought we were starting to really ramp up and get going into the end of the year, and then maybe have a bit of a sell off, and then maybe keep going into 2026, which would somewhat follow that cycle, the cycle he's talking about. Though we've still got time now, obviously, with this crash to now ramp back up out of this hollow end, finish off in 2026. But just from what I was seeing from previous being in the market for a while now and seeing and riding the roller coaster up and down, I'd seen, I hadn't ridden the roller coaster this year enough. I hadn't gone high enough up to the top yet. So
Hadn't got thrown out the top, you mean?
Yeah. And that's and I was like, we did see a bit of action, but it wasn't what you'd really expect when we've seen in previous years. Yeah,
we never saw that feed and greed index, and we'll go and have a look at that a little bit later. But that never got to that area where the greed hit the extreme. No. So that indicator sort of indicates that either A, we're having a really shit bull market year because everybody's broke, or, retail hasn't hit yet because it's not gained enough attention. and it's because they've extended that cycle. So it does raise a whole different question about that. Yeah, so we have another bit to do with gold and to do with Bitcoin. So I'll unmute myself the first time and then add it to the stage.
Were now the same again, which I think has a pretty good chance of happening once more. That could even, again, gold moving just sideways or lower and Bitcoin continuing to move higher. And I think you see that into the fourth quarter, into the end of the year.
So we've combined all of those together. What we are concluding with this is if the historical patterns have played out like they have in the past, we could see a rally for Bitcoin and a consolidation phase for regular gold.
Were now the same again, which I think has a pretty good.
Got to turn my mic back on. All right, so that gives us a little bit of a different impression, all right, to do with gold. Now, at the moment, we know that gold is up there and it ain't slowing down. And what they're saying is that Bitcoin will end up will do a catch-up. I'll just bring that back up on screen, but not play it. So you can see they've got some areas cycled where Bitcoin has come back up and re-caught up, and it's done it here as well, where it's actually overtaken gold. With gold being so high, and if Bitcoin does in fact come up and hit that point, what does that mean for Bitcoin? How much is that going to be? All right?
Yeah. Oh, got my echo again.
I caught you just as you echoed.
Oh, well played, man. Yeah, Bitcoin's probably that's gonna start when I reckon you're gonna look at the $250,000 Bitcoin mark, that kind of thing, those kinds of prices that they talk about. But it's we're starting to get into the theory of what game are they playing here. That's what we're getting into. Yeah. Pretty interesting. Okay. There's some theory out there about them going to revalue driving Bitcoin and driving gold so they can revalue different assets to buy the other out and then start the new system with the stable coin and things like that. It's I've got a couple of videos that talk a little bit about that if we get time, but we'll keep rolling with your Vince. You're doing I like what you're producing at the moment. This is after sitting there for 10 years on my silver and watching and just because I understood really what real money was back in the day when I first started looking at this stuff. I was like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I should probably invest in that stuff. And now actually seeing it finally getting there where they're seemingly got to do something. Otherwise, we're going to see the $10,000 gold. We're gonna see $150 silver pretty soon.
Oh, yes, please. I mean, you were talking about your silver before and how early you bought yours. I only bought mine in 2023, right? March or May of 2023. And I worked out that the amount that I bought then, right, to what it's worth now, is a little over 110% increase.
Wow.
All right. So 110%. I didn't get that out of the bank. That's 40% per annum that I basically got from my silver.
Yeah, because it's real money. It's actual. Yeah. It has actual value and is technically in the Constitution and all that. I don't know how much silver and how much it really is anymore, but technically that's what gold and silver was, actual money. And it's been money for thousands of years.
Donna, I haven't seen anybody else commenting, but Donna, Margot said hello. Are you guys still on the chat or have you disappeared?
Hey, Donna and Margot. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Right. So out of our 10 viewers, we've got 2 people chatting. 8 viewers. Oh, we lost 2. Look, I scared them away. Okay, here's another bit from Raoul Paul. Oh, you're here. Thank you, Donna. Appreciate that. All right. Here's another piece from Raoul Paul, and this is interesting. Turn the sound on. And I'm going to go that way.
We are now still in the early phase of phase 2. This is not a phase 2 correction. We've barely broken out. In fact, most other assets, thinking about stuff like total market cap, X, Bitcoin and ETH, haven't yet broken. Now think of the banana zone here. All of these previous 3 were all only one period wide, this 1 year. This one will be wider. So which is why the market looks less parabolic at this stage. But the parabola will occur, and Julian showed you with that work earlier, and we will have a phase 2 correction.
Right, I'm just going to bring it to that stage there and turn the sound off. Right, go, Mark. What do you have to think about that?
That's telling me that when it does occur, it's going to be a much more violent action. We're going to see much higher heights and maybe sustained for a lot longer. Because of the pent up energy kind of thing that we've got as the market has to unwind. It gets back to why I said to you before, I was like, throw it on the weekly chart for silver, so we could start to see that parabola starting to unfold. You can start to see that it's starting to go vertical in the weekly chart for silver, which is just something to see that you don't get to see every year. That's for sure. You don't get to see it every 15 years, and it only happens when the monetary system is seeming to change from the research that I've done and looked at things. But yeah, it's looking at that. Obviously you'll see it'll jump and then you'll see a big correction, and it'll give you which is like the correction phase 2 and things like that, and you'll get more buying opportunities. But obviously now's the time. If you've got money, try and be getting it in now. But if you can still if your only option is to buy weekly and monthly, do your best kind of thing to accumulate on those dips, because they'll be big and violent and they'll scare the shit out of people, but it'll then go again because it's going parabolic and there's so much energy being released, basically because we're at the end of the cycle.
And put us back there. There we go. Or back like that. That way people can't see how ugly I look today. So effectively, though, that's a really interesting chart. And what that's telling us, if that is correct, that explains that extended cycle that goes with what they were talking about before. It also explains why this bull season, because I've been through 3 of them now. This is my 3rd. And this is what, your 3rd as well?
Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure. Only be 4th at the max, because I'm not sure I've been in since 2015, 16. So
yeah, so it's 3, because the last bull market there was 2012.
I was going to say it couldn't have been too much longer.
So effectively, though, this one feels different.
Yeah, by a mile.
Really different by a mile.
It's got so much more to give. That's what, and you can see around you that the system's changing. That things are actually the theory that when I first bought cryptocurrency, I'd put in a little bit of money and I made over $100,000. My account went over to over $100,000 in the first year that I had it. And I didn't sell anything because I was sitting there thinking, oh, it's just going to keep going. Here we go. We're going to see utility step in. The market's breaking down. Gold and silver's going to pump. Da-da-da-da-da. And I was 7, 8 years early kind of thing, 9 years early. It's just we weren't at the time when the world was going to change at that point. I definitely didn't know COVID was coming. I had no idea the future that was coming down the pipeline. And it's been quite a ride, but that was kind of, I think I followed Q that whole time through the thing, and that kind of trained me up mentally for COVID in a way, to be prepared for what was coming, to be able to stand up and say no. and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was having this extended timeline now that has been seemingly pushed down the funnel to a point where it's going to get crazy and so interesting really fast, I think. And I think anybody that's been sitting there on their silver and gold for all this time, it's starting to actually get exciting for us. Finally, we know we did the right thing.
Well, so Rand Paul was talking about a 5-year, I think he said 5-year, 9-month cycle.
Yeah.
And that, so this could be late 26 then, before this really hits the peak.
Yeah.
So we may be still very, very early in this whole bull cycle.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I was thinking. We just haven't seen. For XRP, we kind of just corrected back to where we should have been if the lawsuit didn't happen. Bitcoin's been obviously creeping up and doing new highs, but it hasn't. The rest of the market hasn't followed yet. It hasn't bled down into the altcoins, which is it always happens. So unless we're really seeing real world utility step in, and we're only going to see a few altcoins get the energy of the market, and the rest of it doesn't get it, I don't know. Which wouldn't bother me really, because I'm pretty sure XRP, XLM, and a few of the other coins would be the ones that get the energy. But yeah, it's like you said, it just doesn't feel right. We've got a lot more to go.
All right. Well, along with that, and by the way, anything that we talked about here tonight is not financial advice. We do not give financial advice. We give opinions that come out of our 1 or 2 brain cells between our ears. So please feel free to ignore anything that we say, because it is not financial advice. And, I'm not like this gentleman. And
clearly, there's no doubt in my mind, cryptocurrency is going to replace traditional finance, TradFi, and it's happening so fast. I mean, cryptocurrency is literally outpacing, the growth of the internet, in the 90s, Charles. And I've never been so clear about something. I've never been able to see something so clearly in my life, and it's been a lot of fun to be a part of this. And
there you go, Eric Trump.
They're going in hard, aren't they, the Trumps? They're going in very hard. It's interesting to see what they're doing with it, because some people would be, some people might call a conflict of interest on Donald for some of the things, he's done.
Oh, well, look, if Hunter Biden can do it, mate, anybody can. So what the hell? Oh, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I guess he's like, this is a free market, and I'm gonna play in it, kind of thing, which is fair enough in a way. Like the way I don't. If you're jumping into his coins and things like that and expecting to get super rich, then if whoever knew that was coming out, they made a lot of money when he launched his coin, but I don't know how you make money on it since. But they obviously own a lot. They obviously have been buying for quite a while, the whole family, and now Eric was talking about like how we were also talking about tokenizing property. He was talking about that he's going to tokenize one of his hotels or something like that soon, or at least build one and tokenize it. So that was what I heard him doing. Yeah, well, that's literally what he said. He goes, you'll be able to invest for $1,000 kind of thing. He goes, if you imagine being able to invest in Trump Tower or Trump whatever for $1,000 and know that we're running it, and he said, why, for his side of the argument, why would I go to a bank and go through their rigmarole and all that stuff when I could just basically crowdsource it with blockchain and help other people share in the wealth and make money and da 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 da. I don't know if that's just pandering to the people at the time or what, but it's but yeah, they're extremely invested, that's for sure. The Trumps they're heavily into this stuff.
All right, so this raises the question though, if crypto's doing this, do we have a need for cash? Because did you know that right now in Australia at this time we have more cash circulating Australia than we've ever had in our life.
Wow.
Right? There is more people holding on to cash, pulling cash out, and keeping cash than there has ever been. Now, you know where we're at, and we know what CBDCs are all about, and I think the audience can probably guess that in the long term, this is a bad thing, right? Because of the control that comes with the CBDC. What I don't think people see is the fact that these alternate cryptos like Ethereum, XRP, XLM, Electronium, Cardano, these offer a different way of doing finance without having to deal with the CBDC. So it's actually a threat to them, right? So I feel sorry for those people who can't see that this is actually I don't know if I want to use the word weapon, or a financial instrument that we can use to counteract the CBDCs. How's that? Look at that. That's almost political statement.
Yeah, and I think it's very fair. Like they can be. That's exactly what Bitcoin and I mean, technically Bitcoin might be a government thing. So some of them might be big government things. Who knows? We don't know. We don't know. We're not sure. We don't know where they came from. But the ones that we do know where they came from, yeah, they are the private coins that can be used against the government coin kind of thing, and could technically offer privacy. I don't know. That's what XRP is an open source ledger. I don't know how much privacy you can get from that, and I don't know how much a government can invade your privacy and look at your wallet and your ledger kind of thing. If you wanted to say pay your mower man with XRP because cash was abolished and you didn't want to use a CBDC if that had been introduced, I'm not sure if they could stamp down on your technically, or I mean technically I guess they could do anything if they really want to with your internet connections and things, but legally I don't know if that will be allowed, though obviously we've seen they'll do anything they want, but when it comes to constitutional and actual being actually ethical when it comes to operating as a country, I don't think that would be a wise move to do to the whole population. But yeah, I still think cash. I still think cash is a great thing, and I don't think it should ever be abolished. I think we have a right. It does offer full anonymity in a way, which I think you should be allowed to have if that's what you choose. I think you might also find people I don't want to use technology. I don't want to. I want to use what my Commonwealth Constitution allows me to use in a way, if we still stick to all that. And
well, you do realise that's gold and silver, don't you?
Yeah,
that's
100%
in the Constitution. Nothing else, just gold and silver.
Yeah, which would mean we'd get back to the same old problem of people don't want to cart around bags of gold and silver with them because it's just annoying and heavy. So we would then go to we'd then go to it does keep you fit. Everyone would have guns on them, but it would be really hard. Everyone would want to do an IOU again, which would take us back to a paper money in a way. Which I don't know. Maybe you could go back to the gold-backed or silver-backed notes, something like that. That could be an option for cash. I don't know. But I mean, technically, the government would have to issue the cash, right? Isn't that how it works? Because forgery and all the things that happen. But yeah, I still think cash should technically be an option. I think that's a right that people have, isn't it? I think it's in the Constitution that you have a way to trade with each other freely without having it reported on a ledger in a way, because some people just probably won't want it recorded, whether it's a CBDC or on a ledger or not. I don't know. I still think I still think cash is a great thing. I still think that's anonymity is a good thing to have when you're dealing with the corrupt governments that we have in the world these days.
Come on, mate. The government's not corrupt. What are you talking about?
They're brilliant. They're all amazing.
I was having this conversation with a Polly today. Well, prospective Polly, and he was guaranteeing me that the government wasn't corrupt in between all his swearing about how corrupt they were. Oh, whoops. Yeah. So, but
well,
no,
he's telling me about his housing portfolio.
Yeah, well, no, this guy is actually an ex-copper, and his name's Kim Hampton, and hopefully he'll be running in the next election. I like his ideas and his thoughts, and he's treating it. He's from the grassroots. He's not a Polly by Polly. He's ex-Air Force, ex-copper, and likes to say his bit. Yeah, hello, Crunchy 8. Nice to see you. So effectively, yeah. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there in the freedom world who don't want to even bother voting. And this is just my personal opinion. I know it's a corporation, and everybody who doesn't vote for somebody to put in there as that we can use as a weapon against that corporation is only giving the corporation more power, because we can't use any weapons against them within their own system. All right. So it's a bit of a catch-22. If you're in a war, and as far as I'm concerned, this is a war, right? The people versus the government. We need to use our spies. We need to do our infiltration. And if that means that we can put in some people we trust who are heading in the same path as us, then we need to do that. But for everyone who says, I'm going to boycott the vote and that's going to be my voice, that voice is absolutely zero.
Yeah. At this point in time, it doesn't do anything.
Especially if you don't vote, it doesn't. It's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? They can come and arrest you. I didn't vote in the election, so you have no power over me. Well, we don't care.
Yeah. I've always been of the opinion that if voting changed anything, they wouldn't let us do it. But I would also vote because of your argument. Because of your argument that we can throw up some roadblocks and things like that. If you can get someone down there to change just a little bit, then it's worth voting. But I always just assume on the whole that when it comes down to the prime minister kind of thing, when it comes down to the federal, who's going to actually run the show, if voting changed anything, I don't think they'd let us do it. That's what I've always kind of thought. But in your local areas and things like that, if you can get people into your local areas and things like that, that actually could possibly step up to the next level and things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, our councilwoman's looking to run in the next election. That'll be interesting. I think she might be going with Labor, but not exactly where I would go. But effectively, she's actually a good person. I have to say she's done quite well for us in this area here. So, in fact, she's going for Labor might be a challenge. But anyway, the whole point that I'm getting at with that, and this is totally off subject, we've just gone into a major diversion arc here, right, is that we need to be able to slow them down. And I feel that, the Prime Minister stuff we can't do anything about, right? But the more roadblocks we can put in the lower house and in the upper house in the way of senators from another party, say even I don't agree with everything that One Nation is doing, but I agree with most of it, right? And if they get stronger and stronger and stronger and we stop dividing the votes and give them to One Nation, we've got an effective opposition for a change, right? One that's not, two sides of the same bloody arsehole. So this is, no, I'm not even going to go with that simile that was going in my head right then. I'm going to leave that one alone. But this is where we can actually get that bat and ball out and give that arsehole a fairly decent whack. But we can only do that if we put people in there. And they will stop that, like the major idea of banning us from being able to do cash transactions, for instance. They put that up. They stopped the idea of being able to do that. This whole censorship bill never made it through the Senate because the groups, the libs and the independents and One Nation banded together and it got crushed. That's what the Senate is there for. And, you know, for us who are out here doing our cryptocurrency side stuff, I mean, they're going to tax us for it and all that sort of stuff. And very interesting, there's a couple of good tax streaming accountants on crypto that people should look up on YouTube. But it gives us more time to prepare, more time to get somewhere, because a lot of people are only just starting to wake up now, right? And they're starting to see that they have to do something different. Now, have you got a couple of videos you want to show, Mark? If you want to get them up on screen and get them set up.
Oh, yeah. I'll have a look and see what I've got going on.
Right. So while he's doing that, one of the parts that we were talking about, it means I need to share screen again. Which will be that one. Which will be that one. Which will be that one. What sort of coins should we be looking to take? And I will just make sure I mute that. Can't mute it while I have it in that mode. What sort of coins should we be looking to take in the future? I think you need to look at some of the actual ecosystems or narratives that are coming into play. So with narratives, I think one of the big ones we're going to see, right, that is going to be quite relative. If I can't even find it at the moment, there it is. Artificial intelligence. Wow, man, that has grown. Look at the list in that. Right? That wasn't that big last week, I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
but
well, yeah.
Effectively, artificial intelligence. Now, I say that because this raises a concern. I ordered a taxi for my sister the other day. And this is what happened. I rang up the phone, and it rang up the taxi, got answered by an AI. Okay. Wasn't too concerned about that. Then the AI asked me, where did I need to get it, the person picked up from, what the destination address was, and all that. So I ended up doing this whole process with AI. And then at the end of the call, I hang up and AI sent off the message to the driver and away it went. Now, I thought, well, it wasn't a horrible experience. It was definitely all recorded and all AI. So, okay. But then I thought about it for a little bit longer. Taxis are a 24/7 business, correct?
All right.
So, think about this. If it's doing AI, and it's all done via AI, person works 40 hours a week, that's 8-hour shifts, 5 days a week. If it's a 24-hour business, then that means there needs to be at least 3 people on in a day. Right? Then you've also got the people on the weekends, doing the weekends. So there's another, say, 3 people. So that means that just through this AI innovation, 6 people just lost their job. Where's their financial security?
You haven't even got to the delivery drivers that they're going to put out of jobs with all that kind of stuff. They already have the AI vans, the automatic, like in America, don't they? Like Amazon have vans that are self-driven. Yep.
But it's also this area. See, every cloud has a silver lining. This is one of those processes where if you're looking at some of these things that you can get into, this one's been flying fairly high for a while. What are they asking for that? That's $24. That's now down to $11. And that's on the daily. But when you're looking at these, you actually need to go and check out what they're actually doing. So there's Theta down there. Theta's been around for quite some time. So if you bought Theta down there at 50 cents, you know, you now can get it for 54 cents. Yay, you made 4 cents. But, you know, if I go for the yearly value, you can see it's quite different. So it's got quite a way to come to get back up high. So this one here, this is called banterbubbles.com. It's actually really good for just doing a quick browse through and seeing what's new and what's there and whether the day's green or red or whatever. And from here, you can get access to the websites of these various cryptos. And the fact you come over here to the filter and you can work it out by ranking, by my watch list, which I haven't got anything in my watch list. Ecosystems, whether it's Ethereum, Solana, BNB chain, and narratives. And I like the narratives because it gives you a bit of an idea on what you're looking at. Like there's AI agents, for instance. That was the one that I was thinking about, AI agents that are about, right? Virtual, that's in there. I've got an AI agent, which is all about working out what's deep fake and what's not. Which is actually, I do have some crypto in. And you've got those sort of things there, right? And you go right through that, including things like privacy, which I think might be in here, real world storage, DPIN, decentralized DEXs, restaking, lending, borrowing, NF. No, they haven't got the privacy in here. But, you know, things like, if we go back to ranking, ZEC, Zcash. That one's been getting a hit lately because of the fact that people are now starting to look into privacy coins. And why are people starting to look into privacy coins, Mark? What do you reckon that might be, mate?
Because the government's going to steal their money.
No, right. You can't say that.
Maybe.
Come
maybe.
on.
That's
When
what they
has
think.
the governor,
Allegedly.
when- Allegedly. When has the government ever stole our money?
Yeah,
And if you can't
people are
answer that
starting to think-
question, why are you watching this show? Anyway,
And I guess
sorry.
maybe even also just all the privacy, like the digital IDs and stuff as well. That's probably a better answer, a more intelligent answer is the digital IDs and things like that have been introduced. Maybe people are starting to realize that I'd better get as private as I can. I don't know.
We'll start protesting in some format. I mean,
we'll start protesting.
Yeah, well, in some format, I was saying, like, my place is actually putting out a little 11-11 project, which is effectively that after the 11th of the 11th, Remembrance Day, you take your cash out of the bank, and for those next 1 or 2 or up to 11 days, you only deal with locals. You don't use the bank card at all, and just as a protest for 11 days. I reckon it's actually really a good idea. And Penny Johnson came up with it. I think she did a bloody good job at that one. So,
it's not a bad one, though. Everyone could also just start taking their money out of the system and buying gold, silver, and crypto, and it'll.
I advised my daughter of that today,
and it'll kind of work the same way.
4% interest. I said, take your money out and go and buy silver.
Yeah, because that's why you hear all the stories about people going into the bank and the bank saying we're not going to give you your money, because when you take it out of their system, they lose that liquidity and they don't get that transfer of value back into their system. It goes into the crypto market or into the gold and silver, basically into the ground, and it takes their liquidity away, which they don't want to do. Where if we all did that. If everyone did that, if we literally all did it, they'd all collapse, and we'd technically shift everything over to the new system in a way, which I don't know. I think we've got 5 years because they reckon that's the one that can work.
Yeah, I think we've got 5 years, Crunchy. Just by the way, because they're going for Agenda 2030, so we need to be fighting all this time out for the next 5 years or so. So just as you said, and Chris Green, no, I don't. Vince, you follow Chris Green as well, mate. No, I don't follow Chris Green. I'll have to chase that up. Anyway, go. You have the stage, Mark.
Let's try. Oh yeah, sorry, no, yeah, I follow Christopher Green. But I hadn't seen him. I haven't seen him for years. I used to follow him many years ago, and I think I just stopped watching some of the weirder channels that I used to like, or more went back to kind of YouTube and Rumble and that, and I hadn't seen much of his stuff. But he was just happened to be in my feed today, and he has become I think he's invested in Bitcoin very early, and his account says that he's a Bitcoin millionaire now. So, but he also has lots of crazy theories about how the world works. But he was ranting today about the Federal Reserve and the gold, and I thought this is perfect for what's been going on at the moment. And he actually made some sense. So I'll let you guys hear this.
All right, this
we go.
This is breaking news. You heard it here first. It all has finally made sense to me. I can't believe I didn't think about this before, but the reason gold and silver prices are skyrocketing to new all-time highs is they're about to do what I predicted years ago. Watch the video on X. I told you that Trump was secretly replacing the U.S. Federal Reserve System, and they were going to reprice Fort Knox gold and silver reserves to buy all the existing liabilities, Bitcoin, crypto, reset us into the stable coin system, et cetera, move into tokenization, as BlackRock is now telling all of us. And so basically, if you didn't understand what I just said, what they're doing is intentionally pumping, Wall Street is, the central banks, gold and silver prices to new record highs. Gold just hit $30 trillion plus. That's massive. That doesn't happen by accident. And the reason they're doing that is they're going to need higher priced gold, higher priced silver to offset their strategic reserve purchases of the new currency and the new gold, Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, Ethereum, cryptocurrencies, as they send that to decatrillions itself. So if you think about it just like mathematically or just, really common sense, they're going to pump one asset up to buy the other asset cheap, then reset the system and use the stable coins that they printed 300 trillion yesterday, not by accident. PayPal, the PayPal mafia does not print 300 trillion, double the economic GDP of the entire planet overnight on accident. I mean, Peter Thiel freaking founded PayPal. All these guys are PayPal. Elon Musk founded PayPal. That's not an accident. So they're running these tests, shock and awe, which is why they ran the liquidity event recently with Binance and all the exchanges. And we saw the huge drawdown in altcoins because they're lubricating the system. They're checking on stable coins, parity, stability, all those kinds of things, flushing out leverage longs. And then, like I've predicted, watch the video on X. It is titled, I just posted it again. It already had like 1 million views months ago. I was in my green Lamborghini, titled, Breaking Trump has secretly replaced the U.S. Federal Reserve, giant shocks ahead, where I explain that was the optics around Fort Knox. Remember how they said they were going to audit it? Yeah, they did. They just didn't tell us about it. Okay, so now they're repricing those reserves, and they're going to use it to buy cheaper Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, XRP. This is going to be the biggest economic financial event in world history, like what we saw with FTR with his executive action. I expect massive shocks. The financial markets to close, bank runs, the regional banks are going down. I don't know if you saw that today. JP Morgan Chase just incurred a 200 million roughly cockroach debt implosion on a faulty loan that they took with Tricolor. And that's just the beginning. Jamie Dimon's calling it cockroaches. This is the same guy that did business with Jeffrey Epstein. So he knows what's up. He's the same guy that got all the multi-trillion-dollar bailouts from you U.S. taxpayers. So this is going down now, guys. Did you hear what I said? Rewatch this video. They're pumping gold. This is an institutional move, not retail. Retail's not pumping gold plus 30 trillion. No, this is a short-term pump. Once they have that new capital that they've created by moving the water to the other side of the system, gold, silver, precious bullion, metals, etc., they're going to use that to reprice and reset us into the stablecoin networks and this new system, Bitcoin, crypto, Litecoin, Ethereum, XRP, that I predicted. That's what's really going on. Like and share. And follow me on X to watch that video. It's posted just like recently. All right.
Thanks to Christopher Grant. But yeah, he makes, as I was just reading some comments. So Donna said, "Isn't that what Putin said as well?" And that was on my mind already, Donna. It was one of my points. As I was going to say that this jives exactly with what the Russians were saying the other week when I played those videos. That they're saying that the US is playing silly buggers with the world. They're going to reprice some things and try and get rid of their debt. And I think he's pretty on point with some of that stuff that he said.
Yeah, I believe so. I love the way he just slipped in his green Lambo in the conversation.
Yeah, that's what I love. He goes, I'm sitting in my green Lambo. Hopefully one day we might be sitting in our green Lambo.
Not me, mate. I've had to go and sell some more crypto just to pay friggin' bills.
No, I won't
The cost
be
of
buying.
living is just ridiculous.
I wouldn't buy a
Right.
Lambo either.
So, well, speaking of cryptos, guys, if you are looking for any place here in Australia, legit exchanges where you can put your money in, there is 2 links below, one for CoinSpot and one for CoinJar, I think, from memory. One's Mark's, one's mine. Feel free to go in there, use our reference via those links, because that way we get a little bit of money out of that, and that'll just help pay another bill for me. I don't know about Mark, but well, it's not money. We get crypto, Bitcoin, and I'd like to keep as much of that as I can. So
I'll take any free cryptocurrency I can get. I'll take any tiny little bit that comes my way. It all counts.
Yeah. So, got something else there?
Yes. What do I have? Give me a second. And that kind of, we'll get into a little bit of XRP news. Just because of
We nearly made it through a whole
I
show.
know.
Nearly a whole show. Actually, if we theoretically were 1 hour and 7 minutes, so
no.
we did make it through a whole show.
This is like bonus material that we can cut it out at the end. So this, I didn't want to bring it that much with this, but I had to, because of this kind of dovetails with what the silver and gold's going on, is that this is the other side of the coin in a way, that this is one of the major companies in the world that's building the other side, that's building the other market and the other system that I'm pretty sure we're going to be either fed to or hopefully walk freely to. And it's a free system, not a CBD system, which Ripple should get us where we need to go for that. No CBD, down with CBDCs. But yeah, so John E. Deaton is a lawyer who helped Ripple all the way through their court case. Was basically a friend of the court. He helped the court itself. And he just puts a list down. I've said before about the companies that Ripple has acquired and how they are building basically building an infrastructure where they just own everything they need for the other side of the market, or the other side of the system to be built. They just basically will run it. And I say this because they've made another acquisition this week, which we will get to. Though at the moment they've acquired Hidden Road for $1.25 billion, a prime brokerage clearing multi-asset infrastructure. Rail, which is a rail for $200 million, bolsters Ripple stablecoin infrastructure payments, adds virtual account and automated backend, and strengthens its its competitive positive position in stablecoin based payments. They've bought Medico, which is a crypto custody tokenization institutional custody services. They've got a standard custody and trust, which is regulated digital asset custody, trust, stablecoin, and backing infrastructure. Fortress Trust. Fortress Trust, which is crypto infrastructure, regulatory, licensing, and trust services. These ones, I think they owned. They bought a lot of these so they could get backdoors into getting regulation started, because they knew that without regulation, we wouldn't really go anywhere. People would always see it as the Wild West and not want to invest their money into the cryptocurrency market. So unfortunately, we did need regulation. So I think that's why they got into some of those things. Algorand, which is a crypto market making, trading, engineering, talent enhancing, liquidity trading tools. And that's just to name a few, he says. Though this week, this is Brad Garlinghouse's post, the CEO, they acquired the $1 billion acquisition of G Treasury, which will be $120 trillion corporate treasury payments market, or give them access to the $120 trillion corporate treasury payments market, which is kind of a big thing because it's the treasury factor means that they're going to start being able to back whatever they want with these coins, and they're going to have value because they're holding as much of these coins, basically XRP, as they can in a treasury, and they're going to use the value of that treasury to do things with, and without, which I would assume means that they think that XRP is going to go up. I don't think they're going to put things away and lock them away in treasuries without assuming the value will go up, which is in line with many other companies and governments around the world who have also started cryptocurrency treasuries, which shows that we're starting a new system, and gold, silver, all these things are running. It's all because this new system's coming, and whether you like it or not, you're gonna have to either adapt or probably not be a happy camper when it does come in. But yeah, that's just some big news from Ripple. That's what everyone's been talking about this week in the XRP in the XRP sector. Brad says the past few years reminded this industry why payments first and foremost were the primary use case for crypto and blockchain. Payments are where Ripple first started for exactly these reasons. The infrastructure is complex, siloed, and inefficient, but as we know, perfectly positioned to benefit from decentralized finance technologies. Astounding amounts of cash are trapped in outdated payment systems, created friction, unnecessary costs, and barriers to entering new markets, which that's the Nostro Vostro accounts that I was talking about, where banks have trapped liquidity on each side of the play as an insurance play, basically, so they can trust each other. And now that we have cryptocurrency, we don't need that trust. It's basically a trustless system where they can unlock that money on each side of the system, creating liquidity, giving them more money to invest in more things to make themselves more money. So that's why they're going to use these systems. But yeah, and then G Treasury has been serving some of the most well-known brands for decades, and now together with Ripple, we'll be able to help CFOs manage all their assets, including stablecoins, tokenized deposits, etc., at scale around the world. So yeah, it's happening, people. Please buy the dip if you can. That's about all I can say.
Yeah. I must admit, I started off this show thinking we're over and done with until I started grabbing a bits and pieces, and I thought, because it was like last minute grab bits and pieces. So I thought, well, we'll take a little bit of a journey with the viewers, all 5 of them that we have left, and see where we're going and what sort of assets should you buy if you're going to buy, or is it time to get out and get back in a year's time when everything's low. But from what I've seen tonight, I'm of the opinion maybe we're not there yet. We're not even started, and that does ring true with the way it feels. So I think I will have to try and scrape a few pennies together and buy some more assets while I can, while they're down in the low dip, and let them grow. But
it also, unfortunately, we're at the mercy of the manipulation of whoever the gods are that control the markets. Because if we eventually will be correct, even if you did, because they can't keep this system running on fumes and nothing forever. It's going to break. It's just a matter of time. And it seems like at the moment, finally, like 10 years after buying silver, we're now seeing the system crash or starting to crack and break. But I hope they don't. But there's every chance that the gods of the market decide that they're going to manipulate it some more, roll it on for another bit of time. People buy their silver, buy their cryptocurrency. It goes down a little bit. Everyone's got their head in their hands going, oh no, what have I done? Which I've experienced. I've watched all my stuff go down, and you got to just cop it on the chin and know why you're doing it, build your conviction and understand what you're doing, and hopefully you'll get there. And that's, at this point in time, we're there. It's seemingly we're breaking we're breaking the mold and we're starting a new system. But there's every possibility that they manipulate this more and it goes for longer and longer.
It could go for that 5.5 year.
Yeah.
Or 5 year, 9 months. And then the next one could be 2 years, right? 2.5 years. So we don't know how that's going to work. So that's something that we'll have to chat on and keep an eye on future episodes. So while I hope that some people get some help out of our episodes, I mean, it's just two guys talking crypto here, and neither of us claim to be experts at all, right? We've just been around for a while. Some of us are faring better than others, not pointing at anyone, Mark. Right. I'm hoping that at least we can give you some, you're not out there alone, share it with us, come and be a family, throw your ideas at us. I mean, we're open to bits and pieces. And speaking of open to bits and pieces, the show's done on the FBN network. And I really do need to get the website up and running. If everybody would just leave me alone and let me stop saying, oh, well, you just done to this website you're doing and da-da-da-da. I really need to get that website worked out. But FBN Media may not be around for much longer. Just giving you a hint. All right. It is an organization, it is corporate. We do not have any sponsors. We do not have any donations. We do not have anything. And because of that, some of the shareholders are not happy with where we're at this stage. So please, people, do a bit of liking and subscribing and comments in the videos to try and build these numbers up, because at least if we can get a little bit of money coming in from YouTube, that's a start. Right, and I'll try and bring other programs back. Like, so I've got some various Vince Talk topics that I need to deal with, etc. But if you know somebody out there who wants to do a bit of a YouTube presentation and be a bit of a celebrity, whether it's comics or news or how bullshit is Australia type stuff, I don't care. I'd love you to get in touch with me, vince@fbnmedia.online. And we'll see if we can get you on here, or get your own little channel up and running on the FBN Media so that we can get out there and get about, right? We're not going to pay you. I'll tell you straight off the bat. We could pay you with air or CO2, carbon credits. Maybe we could give you carbon credits now for everything you breathe out. But sorry, just being cheeky. So effectively, though, guys, like, subscribe, share, get this out there, get a bit of comments. I mean, hopefully you get something out of it. What's that about Carl, Crunchy? Vince playing Carl. No, it's got nothing to do with Carl. It's actually me being slack because I overextended myself on what I could and couldn't do. So not being able to get... Carl's not the only website I manage, right? I manage My Place. I manage the FBN. I manage Carl's. I managed Our True Australia. I manage Kim Hatton's website. All of those websites I don't get paid for. And I'm actually hosting them. Except for the My Place. My Place hosts its own. But I'm still the manager of it. I still look after it. So, as I said, I don't necessarily want to be in front of the camera. My job is behind the camera, being the arsehole who tries to influence everybody. But I don't mind being in front. I love talking crypto with Mark, and I think we have a good time. And effectively, that's why we're now 1 hour and 19 minutes into this show, because we just can't put it down. And very shortly, if we don't hang up this show, there's going to be a baseball bat around the back of Mark's head.
No, there won't be this week. There won't be this week. The other half has taken my young fella to Sydney, so he's there in Sydney. My other half is seeing Mariah Carey tonight. She can't wait. I'm some of the men at home won't care, but some of the women might. She's just been extremely excited all week. She can't wait to go see Mariah Carey. So I've got the house to myself. So there'll be no baseball bats. There'll be no yelling. There'll be no anything.
We don't have our little mascot of a child coming up.
Yeah, we don't have my little mascot here, but yeah, you might. I'm still waiting. Yeah, you just think he might just come running up beside me, but no. yeah, they're out for the night, so I'm free. So luckily
Holy
we can
crap.
feel free to talk crap as long as you want to me tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, that is a change, right? I really thought that we were, I was pushing my luck here. So,
Yeah,
well,
no, we won't get many of them, that's for sure.
okay. So,
Country just said, Mark, do another video for tomorrow night.
yeah, well, yeah, I know, but she'll be back home by then, won't she?
Oh yeah, she'll be back.
Yeah. So that's not going to work. See, she said it's not going to work, right? But well, if that's the case, what do you think about it being a 5-year cycle or a 5.5-year cycle?
I really think that that's what's going on. That's what I think is. I think we're just in the middle of it. We're just witnessing it happen. We've got to sit here and wait, like we always do. Wait patiently and be bored, because it's extremely boring. It's all exciting buying it, but it's extremely boring after you've bought it. sitting there waiting to get rich. But yeah, we've just got to wait. I think that's what we've got to do. We've got to be patient, not lose, ride this roller coaster. We might see it dip even more, but don't go getting all emotional and selling your coins and thinking you've done the wrong thing. Yeah, I
Take
think
your emotions out of it.
Yeah,
100%.
I think Raoul Paul makes quite an argument. I think I've watched a few clips on him and a few interviews of him making the argument now, and it's a pretty good argument. And just witnessing it, like we were saying before, like it feels like we're living it. So I think that's a good way to go with it. What else have I got? There was an interesting post just that I saw from a guy. This one here, where it just says, "I'm worried about something worse than a recession. We have something that is much more profound. We have a breaking down of the monetary order." Ray Dalio, which I'm not exactly. I've heard of that name before. I can't remember who exactly that is. But Austin Steinbart, he's the guy from Q in America that he'll put eyes and ticks on things that are worth reading and are interesting opinions. And yeah, I just thought that was a pretty fair statement that was going on. And so there's a very shared sentiment going on around the world at the moment, I think, where everyone can feel it and see it. We're just kind of waiting for it to happen. And you've got all these people commenting that it's like there's something else going on here. It's not just a recession. We're not just seeing we're kind of entering hyperinflation, which is an interesting thing to be a part of. And that was the theory that I used to read was we either go hyperinflation or we go like ultimate crash. And it seems like we're kind of taking the hyperinflation route. But that, are you muted?
Yeah, I'm muted. I realized that after I started saying, "Oh, that sounds dangerous." Hyperinflation.
Yeah. Well, that's where we see. That's why we're seeing $10 loaves of bread, which we haven't even started. Like things that like hyperinflation it gets much worse than that. We're just seeing bad inflation at the moment. But there's every possibility that we could get to where we're all trillionaires and we all live in huts, like Zimbabwe, where we've got wheelbarrows full of money and they start weighing it because it's not worth counting it. That there's every possibility that hopefully we never get there. That's a horrible thing to happen to society because it completely breaks it down in the opposite direction. But that seems, here we go. Ray Dalio, US investor, has been calling for a crash for years. Gold bug. Thanks, Babe King. Well played. I knew I'd heard the name before, and I knew that's what I just didn't have time to look up everything. I just I'm saving that for later. That's an interesting comment, but yeah, it's a pretty fair thing to say that we're just seeing something else going on here, much more profound, like you said. And what are we going to see? Is Russia going to be correct? Are we going to see the US basically lump their debt on the rest of the world and share it around, or are we going to see something else happen? I think Chris Green's. I wonder, like the revaluation. I guess it's all revaluation of gold, revaluation of silver. It all just works hand in hand. I guess. I think the actual how it's going to happen. I think we're just going to have to witness that and see what actually happens. But yeah, it's been we're getting to a fun place. How you going, Vince? Are you alive? You didn't.
Yeah, just had to leave the studio, the whole studio. Yeah, and just grab a drink of water. Okay, so got some stuff here.
Yeah, good, because I think I just got to the end of mine.
So just having a bit of a look at our daily exchange volume through the days, etc. Our EFT inflows, we had significant outflow here for this one. That's the weekly chart. Let's have a look at the daily. That gives you a bit more of an idea on what's going on the daily. This is whaletrades.io if you're looking for this. All right, I'll take Crunchy's thing off the screen.
Yeah, these things are really, whale trades are worth watching because whales don't stuff up much. So if you follow the whales, you do pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. The current volume heat map, a lot more in the green at the moment. That's for the last 24 hours. Let's see what it has been like for the last week.
As it tries to drag its bum off the bottom.
Yeah. But we can see here that there's been, Bitcoin down, but Ethereum was keeping its toe in the water quite well for that period of time. Altcoin season, right? Stable Bitcoin season, it's down on 39, which is not huge when you look at that, right? So that's an interesting bit of situation that's going on there. RSI heat map, I don't know how to read that one yet. I've still got to work that, but notice there's not anything majorly overbought, which I thought was interesting. XMR, Claude, Morpho, Recall are all getting into the overbought mark, but most of the stuff is down. ZBT, right down here in undersold. So that's interesting. That might be worth looking at.
Looks like there's a lot of buyers to be had in there, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, but this is interesting. Coin sentiment, right? There's a strong buy for BTC, a strong sell for ETH, neutral for BNB. Actually, that's a bit of a shame. I thought I had more BNB than I actually do because it jumped up nearly 100% since the last time I looked at it. XRP sitting neutral.
Yeah.
So neither one way or the other there, mate.
Yeah, I'll take that every day of the week for XRP.
Right. Strong buy signal on Sol and a strong sell on Tron. And Doge got a strong sell. I sold Doge yesterday. I had to sell some Doge to pay a bill, so I was not happy. And here's our current inflows, as we can see, just to give you a bit of an idea what's going out and what's coming in. Big buys into BTC, LTC. I sold my LTC too, so I'm not doing well. I need to get a job or something, right? But
you might have to start sending out a few invoices.
Sorry,
you might have to start sending out a few invoices for some of the work you do. So, I'm sorry, but you now owe me this much money.
To be honest, for the last few years since I've been put out of a job because I refused to take a jab and then popped up with a heart condition, which doesn't help when I smoke, so don't say anything, Crunchy. But I've spent a lot of hours helping the freedom fight. And if I was to add those hours up, right, I would probably say, and charging them at the rate for a web designer and developer and hoster, etc., I would probably say that would be around $500,000 that I've not earned.
Yeah, it's a lot
that
of
I have not earned. So I'm $500,000 into this fight, guys, in time and labor. So yeah, a like would be good. Thumbs up. Hit the like button. All right, but Yeah. So, the Bitcoin is a side hobby. Let's put it that way. And so having a look at this trading center is actually quite good. I just thought it was interesting to see the inflows and what's going and being bought at the moment. And that's in the 1 hour. Let's go and look at the 24-hour. Interesting. Didn't change for the 24-hour. Week. That has a bit of a different flow. That shows overall our week has been quite a bit of selling. So a lot of people have been selling over the week. And in the last 24 hours, refresh. Come on. 12. 4. Hang on. There we go. The last 4 hours, they started buying back. In the last 1 hour, it's been fairly strong. So very interesting.
Yeah, moves
how
very
will you-
fast.
hang on.
Moves very, very fast. That's why it's best. You've got to build your own conviction. Do your research, build your conviction in what you've bought, and not shit your pants when you see the big red candle come in.
Yeah. So, because we've got you and you've been nailed, right? Crunchy says Vincent Mark should go on the cruise. You know about the cruise, Mark?
I don't know about the cruise.
Right. So, Voice of Freedom is looking to do a cruise next May or sometime, and he's inviting the family along. So they're setting up cruise and booking it in, etc. You'll find it on the Voice of Freedom website. There's on who to call and how to book, etc. And of course, me, who gets very seasick, is refusing to go. Right, and so you might have to be our substitute.
Yeah, you'll have to speak to the other half about that.
Yeah, right.
She'll just be like, as long as she's invited, then
Yeah,
she might.
yeah. Well, you pay for a cabin, and by default, it has 2 people in it. So
yeah, there you go.
So maybe you could. Maybe we should make that Crunchy's job. Convince Mark's other half to let him go, or to take her with him, or something along that line. Most of the small-time coins suffer from rug pulls. That's very true, Vape King. Yeah. I actually agree with you. I have lost quite a few coins from rug pulls. I hate them. I don't like them at all. But that is, once again, that's part of learning to do your proper due diligence. So YouTubers and others promote them. Okay. In fairness, and even sometimes they don't promote great, but I like watching Banter, right? And Banter Plus. So they have some good stuff that's on there. Well over 1 million followers. So they do have some really good information, and you can get lots of bits. I learned how to chart through one of their online courses, which was really handy. Mark, you should listen to your own advice.
Is that about going on a cruise?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
What advice? I try to listen to my own advice. Yeah, if that's about convincing my missus to go on a cruise, then I guess maybe I'll have to start trying to convince my missus to go on a cruise. Yeah.
So maybe Bandit Plus will sponsor us in FBN Media, and then maybe we can make some money. Yeah, doubtful. But anyway. This is the way I go. Yeah. So if you hear me talking a lot about money over the next few weeks, guys, it's because we're sitting on a hair trigger at this stage of the game, and we need to come up with some really good ideas. Otherwise, there will be no FBN Media. Voice of Freedom will continue to go, although Carl may be going from city to city on his feet, and that all be about all you'll have. So, generally speaking, yeah, interesting times. But either way, it doesn't cost much to run a phone and internet, only about $300 a month that we've been paying. So, yeah, anyway, next off. Wax on, wax off. Anything else you want to add, Mark? We've been going for 1 hour, 35 minutes. This is way too long a show.
It is way too long a show.
It
Only the
may
Crunchy
be
said that I
we
need
will
to.
get-
Only the Crunchy said that I need to stop selling crypto when it's low. I don't sell crypto when it's low. Never sell my crypto. Maybe
Well,
I haven't sold crypto in a long time because I'm a long-term holder. But yeah, I'll definitely not. I promise
Feel
I'll
free.
follow that advice and not sell it when it's low.
yeah, Crunchy,
Yeah.
feel free to
Crunchy, yeah,
mate.
make it 2 hours. Come on, we can do 2 hours. Crunchy wants to do 2 hours.
What? 2 hours? Well, if you want me to start talking about politics and government, and that was
Yeah,
the
that's
right way
what
to
I'll
say it,
That's what I'll end up.
I'm sure I can go for another 10. Right? So that
Yeah,
won't
well,
be
it's all tied in. Everything's tied into people. That's what I used to, when I'd start talking to people about any of this stuff or talking about crypto, they'd end up just looking at me like, you're insane. You think the craziest things in the world. Because I'd go on all these tangents. They're trying to explain what I was, the
Yeah.
big picture to them. And yeah, you sound like it. You're
Well,
insane.
why not do the 2 hours? Why not? We owe them a show because we missed one.
We do
We
owe
missed
them
a
a
week,
show.
remember?
We
So
did, yes.
we'll make it up. This is our episode 6 or whatever it was that we missed.
Yeah, episode 6. Buy low, sell high from the Vape King. That is correct. That's why you got to get in. You should have been already in. You should. I guess most of the people that watch kind of are already in and are in the same boat as we are. That you're just poor and can't really afford to buy much anyway. But I have been squirreling it away for years. Hopefully.
Well,
because yeah,
while we're doing that,
because like when you were talking about your silver, where you were up 100%, I think I'm up 200% because of just when I bought, kind of thing.
Well,
So
if
I'm
you
doing
bought
pretty
it
well.
way back then, let's jump to that silver chart. Let's go and have a look. See, no, that one.
I was paying like $20 an ounce for silver.
Yeah, okay. So that was back in 2017, around here.
Yeah, and I even was buying in 2016, down around there. So yeah, so I was
right. So even if you bought it at the peak, that was $20.47 an ounce. Right.
Yeah,
that's American dollars. So,
that's about
right now. It's up around here. The buy price will tell me. Asking price $51.96 American. So that's 150, about 152%.
Yeah, bet.
You have made since 2016.
I'll take that.
So that's 9 years. So if we divide 152% by 9, that's 10, 11, 12, about 14 or 15% per annum.
Yeah, which is better than chucking it in the bank, but not as good as my crypto returns. So it's interesting to see the bets you make, but you got to make some safe bets too, that's what this was.
Well, considering I bought mine here around March 23, right? And at that point, that was around $27 an ounce. Right.
Yes.
So I've made 100% in 2 years. You made 115 in 9.
yeah.
Sorry.
That's not me. I'll take yours. That's why it's so good that it's moving now. Because when you bought back in the day, you just had to just sit there and wait and kind of almost forget about it, or just keep sort of doing a little bit of research and bolstering your opinion that you thought you were correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're finally seeing. I can't believe we're seeing this new all-time highs. I think it's amazing. But there's people out there that like economists and stuff that talk about the gold and silver price, and that we're not going to want to live in the world that gives us a $600 silver, $200 silver, $10,000, $20,000 gold. That's when we're reaching hyperinflation and things are going to get. It's almost like your money. It's, even though you've got all this value in silver and gold, you're going to have to spend it living.
And that's the problem. And even nowadays, just trying to do that. with your electricity bills, bits, pieces. Guys, you're in the chat there, at least 6 of you. Have you any questions? Because we've got another 20 minutes to kill.
Yeah,
So throw a question up or two.
Yeah.
Even if it's tell a bad joke.
Well, Crunchy here says, look into coins that are backed by gold. And that's a very fair statement. And one that I think some of the people in the chat and some of the viewers are followers of Cliff High and his data, his what's it called? His Webbot report. And he has data. He's one of the guys that has said from 20 years ago, from data that he scraped off the internet, and basically gives a future report from a look into the future. He said way back when that we're going to have $600 silver, we're going to have obscene price in gold, then silver will one day parity the price of gold, and that when we see coins that are backed by gold, backed by silver, that's when we'll see this thing in the world, the point that what do you call it? That point in time, that temporal marker will start to lead us into the new world of gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, and that going bananas. And it'll give real value to gold, silver, and that, because they'll start to be tokenized on blockchain and the gold and silver will actually be accounted for rather than derivatized and traded that way. But
how do you guarantee that a coin is backed by gold or silver? I mean, there's been plenty of stuff going around the net that says, "Oh, XRP is backed by this, XLM is backed by that."
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, that's why I should probably even clarify and say I don't even know if backed by gold is the correct statement. I would say tokenized gold and tokenized silver is probably the correct statement, where it's not backing anything. It's just the gold and silver is now being accounted for correctly on a ledger, and it's tokenized. So it has to be accounted for in the vault because the ledger says it's there. If the ledger doesn't say it's there, if it's not there and the ledger says it's there, then we're back to the good old derivatized bullshit system that is stealing everyone's money and what we're in now. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be backed by gold, because Vince's statement of saying, how do you know that it's actually backed? That brings us back to trusting humans, which isn't a good thing to do. And it seems like we're going to be moving away from trusting humans and actually knowing it's there because it's on the ledger and accounted for on the ledger. I don't know. Wait and see.
Well, that's interesting. That's the PAX G that he's talking about right there.
What's that? What's the PAX G?
Apparently, I gather this vape king is just telling us it's a gold-backed crypto.
Oh, okay.
All right. So let's jump here. Let's find
how
out.
do they account for the gold, and how do we know that they have the gold, and where is it stored, all that kind of stuff? I'd love to know that information. I guess you're going to tell me to go and read a website. Go do your research, Mark. You'll figure it out.
That's what I was going to say, Mark.
But yeah, that's the main thing about these coins. Fair enough if it is, but these are the ones that it has to be completely accounted for. And do you trust that it's in the vault, that they say it's in the vault? Can you go and look at it? Is there any way to go and actually see it in person and maybe not touch it, but at least see it? That kind of thing.
All right, so that is the information about it. I'll take that off screen, sorry. Like
it's definitely doing well if you hold it, isn't it? You've been doing pretty well lately.
Yeah, he said he was trying to purchase someone, and well, we'll find out where can you purchase it from. Stablecoins that has a Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, uses ETH. It's a tokenized ETH, right? Hate Ethereum.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's my personal opinion. I don't hate it. I do hate it in the fact that its fees are massive.
Yeah.
Right? But is it in fact real? All right, let's go website.
It's booming.
The safest way to own and invest in grade gold. And it's supposedly Chinese. Is that what you're saying, Vape King? It's Chinese? I know the Chinese have been buying lots and lots of gold.
yeah.
But
Yeah, they love gold. I saw a chart on their gold buying just today, and it's parabolic. Like the last couple of years, their holding is gone parabolic.
every PAX token gold is backed by an ounce of allocated gold. Use this tool to look up the serial number and information about your gold. Really?
Interesting.
Interesting. Enter an Ethereum address.
So if they're playing silly buggers, they'd really have to start playing some silly buggers with this stuff.
Yeah.
If they're gonna start giving you false, if they were to give false serial numbers and things like that.
Well, that might explain why the dollar value was 4,000 something, because that's where gold's at the moment.
I suppose the main thing, though, like they could always derivatize it still. They could just give more serial numbers to multiple people and say they wouldn't even have to give fake serial numbers. They could just give multiple serial numbers to multiple people to derivatize.
Yeah, I suppose they could.
What they're doing. But
it'd be a shit if you had to own 2 Ethereum wallets and the same serial number popped up in both. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's the. I'd love to see how you know that it's backed, but I mean, so far it's looking pretty good, isn't it? It seems like they're doing it.
Let's see developers. Documentation. That's the developer's guide. Let's go for. Come here. Company.
I think the safest way to own investment grade gold is go and buy it yourself and hold it in your hand. But if you don't want to do that.
So there's a CEO and founder.
Charles.
Oh, look, they got $500. Yay.
Funding 500 plus.
I think it might be million or billion.
I would assume so. I'd say billion.
See, I don't know any. Oh, Brian Stern. That name rings a bell. BlackRock. What is the BlackRock doing in a Chinese coin?
Where else could they be?
All right.
CEO of Lotus Development Corporation.
Notre Dame.
Yeah. Well, they seem like very legitimate people, some of these guys.
Yeah, you'd have to go and look them up and actually find out where they are. I mean, I've seen plenty of websites where they put, various companies and stuff up that really are just advertising banners because the company's got nothing to do with them. Right? Still. Oh, okay. Bill is managing director of Allen and Company, a former U.S. senator of New Jersey. Nice bike.
Right.
1979, 1997. A former member of the Senate of Finance Committee.
Yeah, interesting.
So
there's some pretty serious people. Yeah, I've heard of I think I have heard of Paxos, to be honest, but I had no idea what it was. I just assumed it's probably just, I maybe read it in the list kind of thing.
Pax dollars, yeah, that's it there.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept with it. I've always just been under the idea that trusting these people with actually holding it, unless they're showing you their vaults kind of thing, it's like, well, where's the gold?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's where Ainsley Bullion is good, because at least if you tokenize through them, you're guaranteed you can get it because you walk into their office.
Yeah.
So shout out to Ainsley Bullion, even though they're not sponsoring us. Well, they sort of are.
They're good people at Ainsley Bullion.
But well, they did. Well, they sponsored Carl, not necessarily us, but anyway. So Pax Dollars, PayPal, PYUSPD's in that.
Interesting. So it's a
Right.
pretty.
Paxos
They are
Lab,
pretty heavy. They're pretty
product.
heavy hitters. These guys that are doing it.
This one looks like it's a fairly legit one.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing so far, I'm like, yeah, wow, this maybe they're actually doing it, and they're going to try and bring transparency to it. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to do a hell of a lot more research to find out where the gold is.
There we go. Look at this. Independent Accountants Examination Report.
Huh.
Right, and they've got them going right back as far as 2019.
Yeah, wow.
So they've been around for a while. And I can probably pick on any one of these. Independent Accounts Report, Gold Reserve Report. Really? Can I go there? Page 3. Gold Reserve Report. The management company hereby makes the following assertion. Assertions? Alarm bell. On the reported date and time. The Pax Gold note issue has 27,502.492 Pax Gold tokens. They actually own 27,502.492 troy ounces of gold. Troy ounces, too, I might add.
Yeah,
and they're
properly.
signing that off as
But
validation.
it's, where is the reserve is what I want to know. That's what when they say that they hold it in reserve, I want to know where is the reserve?
I gather you could probably find out somewhere in these reports.
Yeah,
So,
that's what.
Let's look at the latest August one. New York.
KPMG is a very big company too. They're a very legitimate money management company, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. Wow, this is it's very interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Is it Vape King? Yes, for bringing this one.
Yeah.
It's an interesting I didn't realize they become so legitimate or somewhat legitimate with them, though I still want to know where, when they say it's a reserve, where would it be? That before I put my money anywhere, I'd be wanting to know, well, where is the gold?
Okay. Each Pax token represents ownership of an allocated fine troy ounce of London good delivery gold held in the vaults for the benefit of a company. The company purchases their gold from StoneX Gold Group Inc., the company registered in England and Wales. Not sure I'd trust anything in England at the moment. London good delivery gold is governed and defined by the London Bullion Market Association. I was expecting something else there, but it doesn't matter. A precious metals bullion trade association. London Good Gold Delivery is stored with the Brinks Global Services Limited, Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation.
HSBC.
The industry is the Industrial and Commercial Banks of China Limited, Standard Bank, all of which the LMBA approved vaults. So StoneX is a registered broker-dealer and is subject to the regulatory requirements imposed by the Security and Exchange Commission's Commodity Future Trading Commission's Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, which we have one of those here in Australia, and other regulatory bodies from within the United States and the United Kingdom. So there we are. So we know where the gold's stored now. You just need to go and get yourself a passport, Mark.
And I've just got to also believe that the banks will, if they ever run into trouble, that they'll give it to me. Do you reckon you reckon if the shit hit the fan and the banks were going down, just because it's HSBC, like it's they're one of the major ones. You got Brinks, Global Services. They're all tied in together. If the shit hit the fan, and you said I want to sell, do you reckon you could actually sell it? Do you reckon they'd be like, no, we're keeping it?
I don't know.
I wonder if they could backdoor that. I've no idea. That's what these are all
you
just
don't
questions.
actually have to sell the gold; just sell the token to the gold.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I suppose. But is anybody buying, or I suppose as long as they can keep up there, even if it is a facade, as long as they can keep the facade up and say that we've got the
As long
gold.
as they've got the serial number and you sold the token.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, interesting. Now, where did I say that was? Hong Kong. Yeah, I thought it was Hong Kong. So that explains that. That's mostly Chinese, not quite. Mostly.
Yeah, it's mostly Chinese and a bit English with some gold in England, supposedly. Wow, that's very interesting. I've learned something there tonight about.
And let's see, where are they actually sitting in the market? They're actually in position 91, so they're in the top 100 as well. Just to let you know.
King Dutch put in a comment here too, saying that the first XRP ETF is supposed to be going live tomorrow. There has already been one that's gone live. That was a smaller one. But is there another one going live tomorrow? Do you know who it is that's launching it? When we saw the other one go live the other week, we didn't see a huge jump in price.
No.
As well, but it was. I think they said it was like the record for their markets. It was like record breaking. The most ETFs purchased.
All right. Well, we're coming up to almost 2 hours. So we nearly hit our mark.
It's a dog with a hair lip.
That I can use that. We nearly hit our mark. So we've got a mark from them. Yeah, sorry, I'm just getting carried away. Obviously delirious, lack of sleep. But let's just go out on some of our biggest winners and losers for the day. All right. So Baby Shark is a winner. All right.
Baby Shark.
Megalodon must have had a baby. For those who've ever watched that movie. Let's see if we've got any regular nays. Cled AI. So that was one of the ones that popped up earlier. I wonder how long they've been around. We've got a really weird cat in some sort of Chinese or Korean type language. I can't see any of our regular. Basic attention token. Interesting.
Yeah, BAT. That's been around for a while.
BAT. Well, yeah, Brave browser runs off BAT.
Oh, that's where I've seen it. Okay.
Yeah, and Brave browser is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
absolutely excellent for watching YouTube on.
That's what I use it for. That's what I use it for.
Right. It doesn't help us creators, mind you. But yeah. Hyperlane is also up. What have we got in the way of losers here? Yeah, interesting. Chain Opera AI. That was one that I spotted that was in the 100 group that sort of looks like it's dropping. Bitmark, D agent down. So some of these AI ones, if you investigate the company, you might be able to pick yourself up a little bit of a winner on some of these, because remember, AI is going to be a huge thing over the next 5 years. There's no ifs or buts about that, and we should really take advantage of it. Other than that, I can't see a whole lot in there that I recognize, and that's the trouble when you've got 19,280 coins that you can choose from. Okay, so what are your top 5 AI cryptos? Ooh.
I couldn't give you any. I don't know them enough to give you a top 5. Vince,
okay, hang on.
You'll probably know a hell of a lot more about AI than I do.
these are some of my favorites. So I'll just see if I can go to it. They're going to let me. There's Phoenix come up again. How nice. Where are we? Crypto, come on. Let me go to my favorites. Few more. That's what I want. Right. Oh, look at that. I'm still only $23.93 down in on that one. Bloody XRP. Right. So in there, I've got quite a bit of gaming stuff in here that I was following for a while. Human AI is one of the ones I'm following, and that has done nothing but go in the wrong direction. So don't trust me on that one. Although its whole process is to determine how can they determine who's human and who's bot on the net. Right. So that's one of the ones that I'm looking at there. Deep fake AI was the other one that I was chasing because I thought that's actually a really good project due to the fact that it's looking for all the deep fakes and they're trying to figure out a way to determine those deep fakes. It's 3,898 in position, and I bought it a while back. I can quite comfortably tell you that I'm running probably around an 80% loss on that at this stage. All right. So if everything I give you the advice for that I've bought, don't buy, find something else because it's not working for me. Yeah. But there is a few. I mean, I am going to try now that things have settled down a bit and the household has grown by another person and we're somewhat sorted. We'll probably spend a little bit more time diving through some of these, especially now that it appears that we're going to be extending for another few months. I think there might be some killings to be made in this. And if I can buy some decent AI stuff at a low price, I'll let you know what I bought for. And whether you purchase or not, 100% up to you. All right. I take no responsibility. I am not giving financial advice. And if you follow my financial advice, all I can say is fool on you. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But yeah. All right.
Yeah, we're a couple
But yeah, I will look into some AI Crunchy and have a look at what's going on there. I must say, in all fairness, though, I have made some money in crypto. I've lost a lot of money in crypto, but I have made some, and I've had to use that money to live. So, when Vince looks left, you look right. Got that? Right. Oh, we're mad. The pair of us, we're just idiots. And you know that we have not met. Oh, actually, I might have met you in Canberra. Were you in Canberra?
Yeah.
I might have met you in Canberra.
Yeah,
right,
it's quite possible.
All doing the major thing. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I was down there with the boy with the larrikins for a bit because they lived down there. So I'd go and camp at their house where the protests were on. It was pretty good.
Yep. Well, I was at the major Camp Epic. Man,
yeah, I did a couple of nights there when I first went, when it was first on. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Indeed. All right, gas fees are BS, I know, but that's how they make their money. If you're going to look for a trustless system, right, the people that are offering the trustless part of it need to make money, and there's not much you can do about that. It's just that ETH likes to really charge like a wounded bull.
Yeah, and that's the argument for XLM and XRP is that they're less than a cent per transaction. So you'll end up.
And when you think about it, if you do 1 million transactions, that's 1 million cents. If I can do 1 million transactions in an hour, what's 1 million cents?
I don't even know.
$100,000.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. The thing is too is that they can move. They'll be able to move any amount of money in the world, any number you can think of for less than a cent. That's the other part of it too.
We're well over 2 hours now, but I've got to say,
oh yeah, we should probably.
Right, Vince is doing the opposite to gas fees. What do you mean by that? Right, I still pay gas fees even when I'm losing, so it doesn't matter. Really. Oh, I love this crowd. They're great. They're great. All right. Look, with that, we've done 2 hours, 5 minutes now.
Yeah.
Way, way longer than we expected. Next week should be fine. I just need to check with my appropriate, you're going to take me somewhere person. When is the next time? 31st, isn't it? We're heading to Adelaide again. So that's 2 weeks away. Yeah. All right. So in 2 weeks' time, if we're a little late on the Saturday show, it's because I'm going to be coming back from Adelaide after picking somebody up. Yeah, Vince charges no one for his services. That's pretty much right. I have a few customers locally in town that I do work for, but all the website stuff that I have 2 or 3 customers that I do have that pay for website stuff that are on the websites I host, but the other 5 or 6 has all been free because I'm an idiot. That's pretty much the only reason I can say that. But if I didn't put them up there, they probably wouldn't be up there. And if I didn't spend the time working on it, somebody else would have to. So it still needs to be done either way. And for our Freedom Society out there, we need to have sources, period. All right. So I'm just hoping that they can help us out as well. Johnson McGastley. Well, I don't. How do I do that? Do I measure the number of times I fart per night and then divide by?
Yeah.
Or what? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, because you'll be rich. You'll be absolutely rich.
Oh, really? You tell me I fart that much?
I'm just taking a punt. I'm taking a punt. I'm betting. Yes. I'm betting high numbers.
Is that because of an old fart? Is that where you're heading?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I know what I do, and I'm only like half your. I'm only 40, so
2/3 my age.
It's got to increase, right? It's got to increase.
Well, now we're getting into personal conversations. I think we should end the show at that point because now it's just going to get weird. All right, guys, like and subscribe. Mark, we will see you next week when we have a constrained hour because the boss will be back.
Yes, the boss.
And we will have some fun. So it will be interesting to watch over the next couple of weeks to see what goes on. Mate, I'm not a vegan. Trust me, I'm a meat eater. And yeah, so we will be back next week. We'll have a look at that. If I get a bit of a chance, I do have another website that I need to deal with urgently and another one I'm in the middle of doing. But I'll get a chance to look into some more of these AIs and do some deeper research into them. And maybe I'll be able to give you a bit of a list next week. But from then, and after all this time, I have actually worked out what I want to say when I'm signing off. And I've said it for the last couple of weeks. And courtesy of a particular gentleman who is no longer with us, who's up in the top right-hand corner. All right. So with that from me, I'll be saying goodnight and saying, keep the faith, whatever that faith may be. Whether it's your faith in yourself, faith in your goal, or faith in God. Keep the faith. Mark.
Goodbye from me, guys. Never give up. That's mine. Never give up. That's what got me through all the COVID stuff, guys. I used to write it on my sleeve at the protests. Never give up. That's what'll get us through this.
Yeah, there we go. So between that, keep the faith and never give up. That's a brilliant message. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, give it that thumbs up and we get a whole 6. Yay. And we will see you next week. Cheers all.